going on another trip to Kerman. To Kerman, a university trip.
Don't mistake these decorations for Christmas decorations. It's actually Yalda in Iran tonight. It's a celebration that marks the winter solstice. I'll describe more about it later on. Most of the students on this trip are Irani.
5 foreign students, including me. Ooh, nice.
We're aboard the 3-star Kavir train. It's pretty nice. We were given a 6-person cabin in which 5 of us international students were staying in. It honestly had all the basic things that we needed. The lights were a bit dim though, and the reading lights, well, they didn't make much of a difference. We got clean sheets, we got a pillow, and blankets. Lots of them. This is my friend Ali Muqaddas. 3 other seniors were also with us in our cabin. In the beginning, the electric sockets were working so I could charge my laptop and watch Netflix movies. We were given some gifts, including a book about the life history of an Iranian martyr, a pen, a Shahzadeh, and a notebook. A few of the Iranian students joined us in our cabin. We celebrated Yalda with them by eating pomegranate and reciting poetry. Yalda basically symbolizes the triumph of goodness and light over darkness, as the longest night ends and gives way to longer days. Yalda was celebrated by ancient Romans and Persians, marking the birth of Mithra. Historians argue that some of the rituals of Christmas were loosely derived from Yalda rituals. Comment down below what you think about this.
Reached Kerman.
हम आए हैं किरमान हमारे साथ सारे ईरानी दोस्त हैं हमारे सुबह के 9 बजे हैं तकरीबन और जा रहे हैं
There was a bus waiting for us, which took us to Farhangian University of Kerman, where we were given accommodation in their student dormitories. After praying, we went to our allocated rooms. In our room, there was space for 8 people, which included 3 Iranians and 5 of us foreign students. I got top bunk, and it was my own choice because it had the only mattress in the entire room that was soft. The other mattresses were hard as rock. We had lunch and we ate zirish polo, my favorite Iranian food. After that, we headed towards a town 36 kilometers from Kerman. It's called Mahan. Located a few kilometers near the town of Mahan is Shahzadeh Mahan Garden, or the Princess Garden. It is one of 9 Persian gardens inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. Now, this garden is literally an oasis located in the middle of the desert, surrounded by nothing but dry plains and mountains. The entrance to this garden welcomes tourists to an earthly paradise, with pools streaming along the garden, trees offering shade to the pathway, and in the distance, the facade of an old pavilion appears, seen behind the cascade of fountains, pools, and artificial waterfalls. This garden's construction began during the late 19th century, during the era of the Fajr dynasty. It was renovated many times after that. The most amazing thing about this garden is its splendid watering system. The watering system employed in this garden and in many other gardens and cities in Iran is the system of qanats. Qanats are underground tunnels dug from the base of aquifers, usually in nearby mountains, and over the course of many kilometers, these tunnels carry water from the aquifer to a city or town or a garden or wherever it's needed. It is so interesting how these canals work solely with the help of gravity. They have a gentle slope due to which the water moves down the slope of the tunnel of the canals. This is the sole reason this garden is as green and beautiful as it ever was. It was constructed in a way that water from the canal would enter from one side and flow down the slope of the garden itself. After exiting this garden, the water flows down to the village of Mahan, providing water to its residents. Pine and cypress trees are used as windbreakers here. Poplar and elm trees are used to provide shade, and peach and plum trees are there for fruit. This here is the interior of the pavilion, which is a two-floor residential building. Some parts of it are now a restaurant and for shooting photographs.
Now, me and my friend, we are in Bagh-e-Shahzadeh.
Bagh-e-Shahzadeh.
Yeah. It was built by Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan. Yeah, Muhammad Hassan. I don't know the last name. And all of this water, it comes from springs.
Those mountains are directly behind this garden. ये आप देख सकते हैं खूबसूरत बाग. ऐसे लग रहा है हम पाकिस्तान में कश्मीर में घूम रहे हैं. ऐसे खूबसूरत दरख्त. यहाँ कुछ हमारे ईरानी दोस्त भी हैं. आपको हमारे एक ईरानी दोस्त से मिलाएंगे. مجید भाई میخوایم در مورد این باغ چیزی بگیم.
وسط بیابون یه باغ به این قشنگی با این همه دار و درخت و آب و اینا، واقعیتش نمیدونم مال کی بوده. مال هر کی بوده دمش گرم.
خب یه شعر میشه گفت در مورد این.
به شعرهای ایرانی علاقه داری؟
علاقه دارم وقتی متوجه میشم.
فاضل نظری بگی کتاب شعراش بخون. کتاب خیلی کوچیک داره، ارزون هستش.
اوکی.
12 تومن 15 تومن. از شاعرای منظور معاصر میگم، این شاعرای معاصر. یه شعر میخونم براتون از جامی. وایسا دارم شعر میخونم. چه کاستو بخونم؟
بله.
حدود 2 دقیقه طول. نفحات وصلك اوقدت جمرات شوقك فی الحشا، ز غمت به سینه کم آتشی که نزد زمان کم آتشا. تو چه منظری که ز جلوه تو صدای صیحه قدسیان گذرد ز ضربه لامکان، که خوشا جمال ازل خوشا. همه اهل مسجد و صومعه پی ورد صبح و دعای شب، من و ذکر طلعت و طره تو من الغدات الی العشا. ز کمند زلف تو هر شکن گرهی فکنده به کار من، به گره گشایی زلف خود که ز کار من گرهی گشا. دل من به شوق تو می نهد قدم وفا به ره طلب، فلئن سعی فبه سعی ولئن مشی فبه مشی. به تو داشت خو دل گشته خون، ز تو بود جان مرا سکون. فهجرتنی و جعلتنی متحیرا متوحشا. چه جفا که جامی خسته دل ز جدایی تو نمی کشد، قدم از طریق جفا بکش سوی عاشقان جفا کشا. تموم شد.
Nice.
یہ بہت اچھی ہے.
Hello.
This is the shrine of Hazrat Shah Nimat'ullah Wali, a 14th century Sufi saint and founder of the Nimatullah order of Sufism. His lineage has been traced back to the fifth Imam Mohammad Baqir. He himself studied many books and was also taught by many notable scholars um, upon the topics of religion, philosophy, science, and Sufism. He soon realized that this form of education could only take him so far in his quest for spiritual enlightenment. He therefore set out and traveled in search for a master who would take him towards his desire of spiritual enlightenment. He met Sheikh Jaffe in Mecca and became his student for 7 years. After completing this period of scholarship under his master, he traveled throughout the Islamic world again for a second time. But this time he traveled as a master, quenching the spiritual thirst of many others. He trained many disciples and amassed thousands of followers during his lifetime. He had more than 300 writings in both Farsi and Arabic, the most notable among them being his Farsi poetry and his predictions about future events. It was a blessing to visit his shrine.